And man, right about there, I knew it was, you can feel that point too. Like you can feel the back of the truck more than you can the front in the middle of a backflip, in my opinion. Here we go with another driver breakdown. This time I had someone request to talk about my over-rotated backflip from Foxboro in 2024. Now, this is when I was in Mohawk Warrior and it poured. I mean, there were storms and it was muddy. And I'll never forget the one fan that told me they had been to 100 Monster Jam events and they had never seen a mud show. And so I got to think about that and thought, man, mud shows are really, really interesting. Like if you've never seen one, it's a lot of fun. If it's your first event you've ever seen, like you probably wish it were dry. But if you're a Monster Jam fan, you know, like mud shows can be quite fun. So I don't remember a whole lot about this run, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, but I just know it was muddy. Now, a lot of people take different kind of paths, if you will, on or approaches to dealing with mud. Like if you notice there's different patterns in the windshields that people cut. I did at one point, we got really good at cutting a shelf. Like we would cut the square out of the windshield and kind of heat up the corner and bend it down. So, or no, it was up. I'm sorry. We'd bend up the top side up so the mud and stuff wouldn't come down into that square and come in on us. But the problem is one time I jumped so hard that shelf broke off, came in and hit my self-center off on the rear steer, and I didn't know what was going on. I thought I lost self-center until I realized that piece had actually hit that switch. So I don't do the shelf anymore myself. But I do. I just kind of cut out the square. You always want to be able to just to see on the other side of the hood. That's really the only thing that matters, because halfway through the freestyle, you can't really see much of what's going on outside of the Lexan, what we call windshield. It's actually Lexan, like plastic. And so anyway, I had lined up for this backflip, and I know I can't remember if anybody had hit it yet before this. I was crooked. I remember thinking like, it's all about speed.
Yes, he is.
There we go. Little tickle. Oh, honestly, I forgot about that. I forgot I saved it. I thought when someone said your over-rotated backflip, it was where I crashed. And I pulled it up and it was muddy. But, you know, anytime you're in the mud, like it's all about momentum at that point. It's not about really reaction. I clearly put too much ground speed into this and didn't think the throttle would grab very much. But the other thing you've got to think about, and that factored into why this over-rotated, was the weight of the truck. So I think we've weighed these trucks at the end of a mud show, and I don't want to make a claim on how much that mud that's caked on the chassis and all over the tires and on and in the truck after a run like this, how many hundreds of pounds, but it's a lot. So you're taking a 12,000-pound truck, and maybe it's closer to like 13,000 pounds. And whenever you get something, just the physics of it, something to actually rotate, it's going to rotate faster because it's heavier. And so somehow, some way, like it was kind of like put on a fulcrum point and flipped around.
Is he lining up for a Morgan?
I was just happy that it came back center, honestly, because there's a chance that in the mud, it just keeps washing out until last second. But this was my commitment point. I was like, it's happening. Whatever happens, happens. 20 seconds left. Just commit.
Morgan backflip.
So I think my timing was really good. Like I hit it right on the container. And then, like I said, man, the back of the truck just, man, it found grip somehow in a big mud hole in Foxboro. And man, right about there, I knew it was, you can feel that point too. Like you can feel the back of the truck more than you can the front in the middle of a backflip, in my opinion. So I could feel the back kind of whipping around really well. And honestly, yeah, see, the reason why that front end didn't come down very much was just because of ground speed. Meaning, like if you hit a trench box slower, then it kind of lets the front end of that truck fall. If you hit it really fast, it doesn't have time to fall because the back end of the truck's pushing it, right? That's where the over-rotation happens, is that fulcrum point. You know, with ground speed, it keeps the fulcrum point high and causes a lot of over-rotation. But if it's slower, it'll kind of bounce off and let that fulcrum point fall, which is what typically happens with, again, less ground speed. So I think I overcompensated on how much ground speed was probably necessary in this muddy backflip. I think it was drier than I expected it to be right in front of it. But then, hey, gave it a little tickle in reverse, saved it. And then, of course, they rightly shut me off because I broke the rear end. So there you have it, muddy backflip. Sometimes you do need a lot of speed just to get it to kind of rotate, 'cause you're not going to have the same traction, and it will cause it to be kind of a slower flip. For some reason in Foxboro that day, we found the only traction out there on the floor, got the back end of the truck to kind of outdrive the front, unfortunately. But we saved it, and it was a cool moment that clearly one fan remembers.